welcome to MotoGP qualifying 1 and 2 here for the round at Silverstone, and I'm looking at a replay of earlier on with Alex Marquez's crash currently. As I said, this is MotoGP qualifying, and the session is due to get underway at 11:55, so in about 3 minutes time. Though I shall pass you over to TNT with their commentary for now.
Second bike, but yeah, it shows you how easy it is to make a mistake in these cooler conditions. A little bit of breeze as well, more breeze than yesterday, so it's harder to generate the temperature in the tyres.
Yeah, that was down at turn 15, wasn't it? Just before we get on to the KTMs and Pedro Acosta there, with talking of cold tyres, just that, it took almost 10 minutes. You know, for Alex to get that bike together, to sort it out, to be able to get it to turn, to get it back, and it was a long way back down to the pit lane. How off-putting is that in a session where every session is really critical?
Well, I think everybody would have seen that as in a little bit more time for the track to dry, so it wasn't really an issue. And for Alex, obviously, the pit entry was just there, so it made sense of trying to push him in there. It just took time because it looked like there was something lodged inside the fairings, and he could not turn right, but they managed to do it, and he managed to bring it home.
And a workout for the marshals to boot.
Yeah, and for him as well.
Yeah.
Those bikes actually, you know, they are quite heavy to push, and the tire, especially the front tire, is really so. Yeah, they're not easy to push.
No, but ended up pretty much up there in that session. Pedro Acosta, as we just briefly mentioned there, he had a little outing as well down onto the floor with cold tyres. Very difficult conditions, probably the most difficult really for KTM, and the more that this wind gusts, the worse it's going to be as the day goes on. Yeah,
it's hard for everybody and very easy to make a mistake, you know, and very different conditions. Yesterday we had high track temperature, as you can see there. That's when we just restarted the session after that red flag. And yeah, Pedro Acosta getting caught when flicking the bike to the right, so it just shows you it's very easy to make a mistake. You've got to put the tires, activate those tires, put them in temperature, let the pressure come up as well before you really can push out.
Yeah, Gav was talking a lot there about the situation away from the track for KTM, and the fact that is now, you know, much more stable, and Bajaj have come in, and the majority now, we've got an Indian manufacturer on the grid actually. They've got stickers on the bike. Yeah, that's a good point. But with all the aero and everything else they've got, do you expect any of them to be able to get through into this next session?
Well, yesterday, yeah, I'm expecting them. Yeah, yesterday they were fighting for, you know, for that 10th spot. Pedro Acosta was quick. Viñales as well. We've seen him, you know, really fast the last few rounds and qualifying well as well. So I'm expecting them to be in the fight. KTM's yesterday just looked like, with the high speedy and the high speed change of direction, the bikes look a little bit heavy, and they look like the riders were struggling to change direction, very physical. So I don't know. I mean, Viñales looking good in that session this morning. So yeah, I'm thinking Viñales and Acosta are going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, Frankie Morbidelli is going as well, and he looks like he's got the pace to go through in this session.
Yeah, and another free grid penalty for Frankie Morbidelli that was confirmed because he was cruising again on the track yesterday. So yeah, another penalty for Frankie. It's just a shame that he keeps doing that. I wish he wasn't, because it is risky, and yesterday again nearly caused an accident.
Yeah, let's get set for this session, and it just doesn't seem to sink in, Gav, does it? As we watch Pedro Acosta come out too, going through to Q2, of course.
Yeah, here we go, and let's see who are those two who make it through into Q2. There are some big hitters, as you've said, in this session. I don't want to put Neil Hodgson on the spot, but I'm going to. That's what we do, isn't it? To say who you think.
And I'm going to take over from them. Hello and welcome to the qualifying. And session has now begun. That is why I'm taking over from them at the moment. And I saw Joshua's comment about my hair being crazier than usual, and yes it is. It was a lot more time yesterday, though. 14 and a half minutes left of qualifying. They are just heading out for their first runs. First of all, to warm up their tyres, and then for them to get a good feel of what the track is like, which is less needed during qualifying 1, given the fact that they're only just immediately coming from free practice 2. Right, so the riders currently involved in qualifying 1, as we see Viñales wobbling about on his bike, trying to warm up the tyres even quicker. So riders involved in qualifying 1 are Acosta, Mir, Oliveira, Vinales, Morbidelli, Marini, Binder, Bastianini, Ralph Fernandez, Salvadori, Aleix Espargaro and Chantra. Now, currently looking at Aleix Espargaro, who is a wild card for this weekend. I believe he is doing, this is his 2nd or 5th race for this year, as we see 2 riders in the background taking shortcuts, and we're seeing that happen quite a lot this round. A lot of the riders are taking shortcuts whenever they can, and that's Vinales constantly looking behind his shoulder, constantly thinking where everyone is. I believe he is... Oh, that is a good thing he was looking where he was, because that is Vinales coming right up along the side of Aleix Espargaro with Oliveira, I believe that is. Yeah, that is Oliveira right behind them. And it's 13 minutes left of the session. Probably the only one seems to do any improvement, and if that's possibly because he was already warming up his tyres while he was in the pit lane, is Vinales having a sectors 2 and 3, which are his personal best, which I don't know how you can be a personal best when you've only just started a qualifying, but they've already kind of done 1 lap, so I guess that's what it's going off. Though surprisingly, he was slow in his first sector. You really see that. You really see that on the opening laps. Though, for Vinales at least, I believe his fastest sector times are about to come in. Obviously, the form in qualifying 1, the first 2 in the positions at the end of this session will go over into qualifying 2, with the rest of the 10 riders who made it through to qualifying 2 in the practice session yesterday. As we're starting to see improvements from even Vinales there in sector 1. Everyone seems to be improving, about to head out onto their fast laps, just entering the final sector now. As I'm just glancing over at the F1 quickly, and it seems to be going okay for them. They all seem to be going quite slowly around one thing, though I should not get distracted by the other screen of motorsport. Right, so about to head out onto their faster laps. 11 minutes left of the session as we see improvements from Acosta, Oliveira and Chantra. And then Ralph Fernandez even making sure his sector 4 time was a fastest on the track, so he's already getting a head start on the times. Now Ralph Fernandez, I do believe, goes quite well in the qualifying sessions. He's always able to get quite fast times when it comes to that. I think he saves his tyres, to be honest, in the free practice 2 sessions, and just learns the entirety of it as he gets a 1:59.092. That is quite a good lap time to be getting at this point in the session. I mean, in free practice 2 just now, Quartararo's that time was only 60 thousandths of a second faster than that, and hit something on the desk. Everything is fine. Right, we're seeing a lot more fastest lap times there for everyone. We have fastest lap time sectors 1 and 2 for both Ralph Fernandez and Pedro Acosta, and then fastest lap times 1 for Mir, Morbidelli, Marini and Binder. Only one seems to not be keeping the consistent pace is Binder, as he only does a personal best that time around. And we have quite a consistent pace from both Ralph Fernandez and Pedro Acosta there. They both seem to be really, really consistent with their times, as well as Mir. They're the only ones who are the most consistent on the track so far. Vinales seems to be going on a slow lap, however. I don't know why Vinales seems to be going in a completely different sectors to everyone else. Though he just is. He's just doing his own thing, and I think it may rain soon outside the commentary box. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. Right, so Oliveira goes up into 4th position, only moving 1 place up with a 1:59.915. Acosta is looking to be 4.5 tenths faster than the time of Ralph Fernandez currently. and he's going to cross the line in a moment. And what can he bring up to? Everyone seems to be setting really fastest times, so especially Acosta, Ralph Fernandez, Morbidelli and Mir. Acosta goes top with a 158.566. Oliveira goes fourth, as I just said, with 159.935. Lichtenberg goes fifth, and Chandra goes sixth with, okay, Morbidelli about to cross the line, so is Mir. Mir goes second with Marini going fifth, Binder going seventh, Bastianini going eighth, and Salvadori only making up into 11th position. Morbidelli went fourth as well during that instance there, and everyone seems to be... Now, this is interesting. Some people seem to be maintaining their fastest lap times and trying to perhaps do a double, as it were, as we see sometimes the riders trying to make. But some are going onto a slow lap. You're seeing quite a battle there between, I think that's Vinales. I think Vinales is trying to do a double, but I don't think anyone will be able to do that. We have our first pit lane. Vinales backs out and goes into the pit lane, it seems. So, doesn't look like he will be doing a double anytime soon, though it seems Binder is definitely on his way to wanting to improve the next lap time, as we see Pedro Acosta making his way around the track. Obviously, he's in first, so right now he is Q2, and he's had kind of a mixed season, I would say, so far. He's been good here and also a bit of a concern in other places, though I generally think that is the track and not his riding, because some tracks are notoriously difficult to ride on. Other people have had problems with that, though so far this season it always seems to be Acosta and Jack Miller who are having the more consistent problems, and if it's ride height devices, then that's just Quartararo's problems always. Let's see, as they're all about to head into the pit lane, it seems. Now, here is kind of the 2-minute lull, I like to call it, in qualifying, where all of the riders head in and quickly sort out their strategies with their team, and then I think some of them change bikes to their second bikes, kind of get a feel of what both bikes are like. Of course, if Alex Marquez was doing this, he wouldn't have to, because he's only got his second bike right now. Now, here they all are heading back into the pit lane. In a moment, I shall go through what all the times currently are for each of the riders. I'm just going to quickly refresh my screen. Yeah, there we are. 1.6 thousand subscribers for JBMotorsports 2. Thank you for everyone who has subscribed. And who's that I'm seeing? That is Mir going through his strategy. I mean, he is in second position. I feel like if you're in second position in qualifying 1, you both feel safe, but you also feel incredibly nervous, because if one person improves really well, then you're out of that position. You're not going through to qualifying 2. You have a bit more security with being in first position, though. Here's a replay going round one of the turn 5, I believe it is. Does he catch the curb? Is that why we're getting a replay? I believe he did minutely catch the curb, and it must have almost kind of set him a bit wobbly during this time. However, I'm going to go over to this screen. Oh, and if they're heading back out onto the track, so I'm immediately going to swap back to the qualifying screen. All the riders seem to be heading back out of the track now. First to get out on the track seems to be Morbidelli and Ralph Fernandez. Ralph Fernandez seems to be ahead of the curve of everyone. It seems to be Ralph Fernandez and Morbidelli both desperate to get a move on with this session, because obviously they are the closest to being the fastest on the grid, so they're more desperate to get through to qualifying 2. And what's this here? That is far too close there. I believe that was either Binder or Vinales right there. going far too close to Salvadori. And I won't be surprised if that kind of messes up his lap time, but thankfully it's only the opening lap, so not too much damage done there. 3 minutes and 35 seconds left of qualifying 1. The grid currently looks as Acosta in first with a 158.566, with Mir in second with only being a 10.5 behind Acosta's time. Ralph Fernandez is in third with Morbidelli in fourth. Marini is in fifth with Vinales in sixth. Binder is in seventh. Bastianini is in eighth. Oliveira is in ninth. Alicia Spargo is in 10th. Salvadori is in 11th. And Chantra is in 12th position right now. We're looking right now at Ralph Fernandez making his first fastest lap. And let's see if Ralph can do what he does best and get qualifying runs that go really well into qualifying 2. I mean, it's usually not as predictable in qualifying 2 for Raul, but he usually is really good at getting into qualifying 2 and having really good qualifying runs. He's currently estimated being P1, with being 66 thousandths of a second faster than Acosta's time. I'm currently on board with Morbidelli, and let's hope he doesn't make any mistakes. Obviously, he is also quite close to that possibility of getting through to qualifying 2. 2 minutes left of the session right there, and quite a lot of whispering going on from Ralph Fernandez's team. And oh, what's that? Technical difficulty with Vinales. Where is the yellow? Where is the yellow? We literally have a rider stopped on track. Yeah, there it is. There is the yellow for Sector 1. What happened? This is Chantra. He's crashed out. Why is Vinales stopped? On the entrance to turn 2, Chantra has crashed out of qualifying 1 with a minute and a half to go. That will absolutely obliterate anyone's lap times who is currently in Sector 1. Thankfully, I think anyone who is there is not currently doing a fastest lap time, though. Is anyone else wondering why Vinales is just stopped on the track? No one else wondering that. He just was not moving. He was just sat on the side. Literally, he was sat on the side. And it's not even me confusing people, because I know that number 12 is Vinales. He was just on the side, casually waiting for the yellow to come out. I'm guessing he must have some sort of technical difficulty. He seems to have got it going now, though Chantra seems to have his crash cleared up as well. That was a quick yellow. That lasted all but 30 seconds. So what went on? What went on there? What went on? Marini tops the session with a 158.209, with Morbidelli in second with 90 thousandths of a second behind. If anyone knows what happened to Vinales just then, please tell me. We're on our last qualifying lap. I mean, I know what happened to Chantra, but the fact that Vinales wasn't the reason why the yellow was brought out makes me really want to just cry of laughter. What happened? 5 seconds left of qualifying. I'm actually crying of laughter now. Right. Mir is currently estimating to be a second faster than Marini's time. And I have Joshua on the radio, if he can hear me. I'm just finishing up qualifying 1, so I will get to him in a moment. Oh, there you are. Vinales just stopped on track. Never got an explanation. That is Morbidelli going wide, so his possibility of getting an even faster lap time is gone. Chantra crashed at the same time. That brought out the yellow, but the fact that Vinales was just stopped on the side of the track, just casually just looking at his gloves, never brought out the yellow. I want to know what happened.
Where was he on the circuit?
I don't know.
That's very unusual not to bring out.
I think he was at, like, near Maggots and Beckett's, like a corner after that. I don't know what happened.
That's very unusual not to at least bring out one yellow flag. There he is, walking back in.
What happened?
I would assume he might have run out of fuel. That's always an option.
You look so casual about it as well.
Juan Mir still might get through here, though. On Morbidelli's come up towards the line. He was a 10th down, but that's not much over the line.
It's maybe cry of laughter.
Checker flag's out. No, he didn't do it.
Just, he was so close to it. He was in first position, obviously, just a couple of minutes ago, though now he's been kicked out of any possibility of going into Q2. First through to Q2 is Marini. Oh, and here's Acosta. What happened with Acosta? Just has to back out. The lap time goes wide.
I don't think he got the rear brakes in either. I wonder if there's a problem with both of the KTMs with brakes, maybe.
They have to be. There have to be problems with their team. What happened to you, Vinales and Acosta? What both happened?
You're going to see. Now he's coming down the pit lane here.
What happened?
Doesn't stop.
So they're having brake issues at KTM. Okay. So that's why he was just parked up. Somehow he's managed. I think he noticed quite early on into the
Bike's
thing.
dead.
Oh. And taking it out of a bike is not going to help Vinales. Right, I'm going to read out the times quickly. Marini is surprisingly topping qualifying 1 with a 158.209, with Morbidelli in second. Mir is in third, Acosta is in fourth, despite his having to go wide. Oliveira is in fifth. Ralph Fernandez is in sixth. Bastianini is in seventh. Vinales is in eighth, despite his troubles with his bike. Binder is in ninth. 10th is Salvador. Leishsberger is in 11th. And Chantra crashed out and is in 12th position.
I think that, well, it looks like it was a good session.
It was a good session. It was a very confusing one towards the end. I don't know what was happening. And it does concern me the fact that Vinales had the problem first, and yet he was not the one brought out the yellow for. He was just stopped on track with people going round. Now, I will throw over to TNT for the break in between now and qualifying 2.
Just having a joke about it, but everyone's like, oh, his contract's up, who's taking his place? Not giving him a chance of a future at all, and he's fighting for it. So great to see him go through. And Frankie Morbidelli, no surprise really, because he's showed the speed and it looks like he can, but sometimes in a situation like that, your tactics have got to be right. I mean, he could have brought Marini, Joan Mir around, thank you, yeah, if he just stayed on track.
Yeah, he was dragging Joan there, and he was touch and go on that last lap. Joan Mir just making that small mistake and nearly losing the front, and he's lost like a couple of tenths, and that was it. So yeah, really close session. Luca Marini, the surprise, really good. You know, rising to the occasion and to the pressure as well. You know, shows that Honda is doing good again. You could see, you know, on the images, the Honda in the braking zone just looks so much better than last year. So huge improvement for them compared to last year. They're carrying on, progressing. Yeah, Luca Marini looking good. I just want Neil to carry on talking bad about Luca there, because I like it. I like to see Luca, you know, doing good like this. So please, Neil, carry on.
Well, good news for the Hondas, but bad news for the KTMs that we were talking about earlier. I mean, Maverick Vinales behind me, I calculated that he was only going to get one lap. He went out so late, and obviously he had an issue and never got a lap at all.
Unlucky. You know, the KTMs, since yesterday, they've looked like they didn't really start the weekend very well. They are struggling. We've seen Pedro Acosta running out of room as well on track. So and the conditions today are very different. We're seeing slower lap times actually than yesterday. Yesterday we're in the low 57s. You know, some new track record actually yesterday. Today it's a lot more difficult in those two sessions in that Q1 as well, time attack. So they're going to have to adapt to the conditions and wash out that front end as well. They will have to use the soft front, but it looks like that cold breeze, you know, is making it hard work.
Yeah, and it's getting worse as we're standing here. It's definitely much cooler than when we came out about an hour ago. Q2 on the way. There are 3 Yamahas in that. You can see how the concessions have really been working for Yamaha, and now seemingly starting to for Honda as well. Let's go down to the box there. Nat's chatting with Paolo.
Paolo, Fabio has demonstrated over the last few races just the clear steps that have been made by Yamaha. But when you see Alex and Jack and Miguel on his second race back having a positive Friday, that must be really encouraging to see.
Yeah, I would say for sure Fabio is showing probably the max potential of the package today, but we're very happy to see also the other rider coming up. And when you see all of them pushing each other, you also clearly understand the meaning of having 2 team and 4 factory riders on our bikes.
We know this is a good track for the M1, but as I say, a great Friday for all of you. We know there's been 2 tests recently. Fabio's using new aero, there's a new chassis. Do you think those 2 tests in particular have been a real turning point?
I think what is positive this year is starting from Sepang, we have brought not many news, but every time something which has been working, which means compared to last year, most probably we have better understood the direction, and all the effort are canalized to bring small steps, which all together, obviously, they are making already visible steps.
Do you think Fabio can get a 3rd pole position in a row then?
We will try for sure, and as I said, most important is to have consistent result and consistent top-level performance. We're going to challenge in a dry condition, which is also very positive. Front row, I would say, is a target. Pole position will be an extra positive result.
Great to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you to you.
Paolo Pavesio there from Yamaha. Scott Redding. That's Scott Redding there, isn't it? Enjoying a bit of bike action this weekend. He's got big welder glasses on, and there he is. Yes, definitely him. I was just thinking, is it a Scott Redding lookalike? But no, that's actually Scott. Oh, it was great having Scott in this paddock. What a big character he was, and fantastic instinctive rider.
Yeah, I mean, Scott, it was a big surprise for me when he jumped to British Superbike and did so well in his first year. Obviously, he's having a bit of a tough time at the moment in World Superbikes, but yeah, good to have him this weekend.
Yeah, it really is. So, what about this session then? Paolo talking about the front row being important, but you know, two pole positions for Fabio Quartararo, 3 on the bounce. That would be magnificent, wouldn't it?
It's going to be tough there.
Yeah,
we've seen the Yamaha, you know, and in the hands of Jack Miller as well this weekend so far, going really well. Jack has stepped up this weekend. He's really enjoying it around here. Obviously, enjoying as well the new upgrades. They've got the new aero package as well that was validated in Misano in that private test after Le Mans. So yeah, the Yamaha looking good. 3 Yamahas straight to Q2, which is a first for a very long time. So they're looking better and better.
Yeah, Alex Rins notably looking better this weekend, I think it's fair to say. But in terms of, you know, a pole position, a front row here, is it difficult to look past the 2 Marquez brothers and those 2 Yamahas of Quartararo and Miller?
Yeah, I think Bezzecchi's got a chance as well on the Aprilia. You know, he's been looking the best he's had since the start of the season. He's got a good pace and looks confident on his Aprilia. We know it's a track that really suits the Aprilia as well, with those long sweeping corners. I think with these track temperatures, it's going to be difficult to beat Mark for the qualifying for the pole position. But Alex is on his case, and this weekend, I would say Alex is the best weekend for him. It looks like he could take the fight up to Mark.
Yeah, it looks like he has got an edge, doesn't it? Although in that pre-practice session earlier, we did see Fabio Quartararo just pop in a quick lap just to say, I'm here, I'm going to try and do it again.
Yeah, and he can. I mean, the lap that he did in Qatar, the lap that he did in Le Mans was unbelievable. His pole position, the lap time was unreal, and it looked so good on that Yamaha. So that we know they're able to extract that performance from the soft rear, and Fabio excels at that.
He does. The zip is up. He is ready to go. Let's go qualifying then for MotoGP. Gav, it's all yours.
Yeah, people around the world stop swooning.
Right. Now for me, that's all my commentary instead. Head to the qualifying screen. This is the start of qualifying 2. See the riders all heading out onto the track. That could be a photo for a lock screen, that just then. That was quite good there. It was just, they were in like formation. Right, so let's look at the circuit pole sitters for the past 5 years. I mean, last year, Aleix Spargro was the pole sitter. He's not going to be this year. And before that, it was Bezzecchi, then Zarco, then Paul Espargaro, and then Marc Marquez. So the past 5 years, we have had 5 different pole sitters. I mean, 2 of them have been brothers as well. So could Alex take the pole and make it 6 years and two sets of brothers be the pole sitters? I mean, I don't know. Maybe. maybe they will manage to do that. I will read through who is currently in Q2. So Zarco Marini, who made it through from Q1, Quartararo and Morbidelli, who made it through from Q1, Rins, Jack Miller, surprisingly enough, I still can't believe Jack Miller, who is usually in Q2 most of the time, Q1 most of the time, has got through to Q2. D'Antonio, Aldeguer, Bagnaia, Bezzecchi, Alex Marquez and Marc Marquez are all the riders in Q2 presently. You can see quite a large pack of them heading down. I believe that is turn 3. I think I was right. I think it was actually turn 3 because so many of them are around turn 3 and 4 and 5. Never before have I got a corner right, I think. I'm just not good at telling which one's which. I'm good at telling the roundabout location though. So, heading down the old starting line. They all seem to be heading through their warm-up laps at the moment, getting their personal bests out of the way. And yet again, we have someone not doing their own personal best, and that is Quartararo. Well, last time that happened with Vinales, he ended up with a technical problem at the end. I still don't know what's going on with KTM, and none of the KTMs have actually made it through to Q2. Thank you, Sean, for mentioning that, by the way. 12 minutes left of the session. Now, let's have a look at the sector times they are currently setting. They seem to be in the relative ballpark of being the same, though further downfield we actually see only one person truly improving ahead of, actually 2 people improving ahead of the rest of the pack, and that is the Marquez's, with Marc Marquez seeming to be quite faster in Sector 1, with Alex actually taking the lead in Sector 2, being a lot faster than the rest of the field, both going into completely faster seconds. And here come the times, the opening times as it were, with a fastest sector 4s and then head right into the fastest sectors 1s, 2, 3 and 4s on their fastest laps. Now, what is this going to turn out like? Why does Quartararo look so still? He's got going. So, Alex is currently at top of the board with a 1:58.558, with Mark behind him in second, immediately replaced by Jack Miller with a 1:58.563. You see, in qualifying 1 we had a lot of 1:59s, though right here we're having a lot of 1:58s from this set, so you can definitely tell that they're the fastest ones on the grid, and Jack Miller is right up there in the thick of it with the Marquezes, and Rins goes top just then. Alex Marquez's time has been stripped from the board, and coincidentally enough, Rins actually sets quite a similar time with, actually I think the same time, with 1:58.558. And before anyone thinks, oh, you must have mixed them up, I did not. That must have, the only way I can think this through is that there must have been a technical glitch on their end, because I know for a fact that said Alex Marquez originally. Quartararo, as I just say, this moves up into first place with a 1:58.506 as everyone sets their fastest lap times, with Mark and Alex both having faster sectors 1, 2 and 3, the only ones on the track currently to actually be doing that. And there's only 2 people who aren't improving as much as they should, and that is Jack Miller and Marini. And Marc Marquez goes top with a 1:57.914. We've broken into 1:57s. I think that is the first time in the weekend where we have actually broken into that. And that is a gap of, how much is that to Quartararo? Just need it to appear on the screen. That is a 3/10 gap between the two of them. Quite impressive there. Bagnaia immediately goes into second, however, with a 1:58.228. That is still 3/10 behind that of Marc Marquez's time. And Aleix was, I was going to say went or goes, and it kind of went into the same word. Goes into third. And what's this? Quartararo has his time improving in personal best, and yet he is catching up incredibly fast to Marc Marquez's time. I think he has done a fastest sector 4. Am I mistaken? Heading round the last corner now to cross the line, and he goes second with a 1:58.195. 8 minutes left to go of the session, and this is really bothering me, the microphone, for some reason. Right. Now, round here, I think, is going to be the moment where people start heading out into the pit lane. Here's a replay of Quartararo doing a wheelie down one of the fronts. So I wonder whether we've got a faster time if he hadn't been doing the wheelie because of the aero. Oh, did a front wheelie as well. And it's could have fallen just then on this replay. There was a possibility of him falling. I saw a slight wobble in that. Surprisingly, it was the rear wheel tyre, the back one, that I saw the issue in. I don't know why I can't speak today. I've had coffee, but that should help. So, 7 minutes left to go of the session. People are heading out into the pit lane now for the 2-minute slump, as I mentioned earlier, I call it. Quartararo about to head into the pit lane, and I shall read through the times that are currently for all of the riders. Marc Marquez is currently in first position with a 1:57.914. That is the first 1:57 of the weekend. With almost 2/10 behind him is Quartararo. He's actually managed to improve his time by a couple of hundredths of a second there. About 200, because he was quite close to Bagnaia beforehand. That's him heading into the pit lane now. Quartararo in second. Bagnaia is in third, with Alex Marquez in fourth. I don't know what type of slump Alex has suddenly found himself in, though he was a lot faster in those opening few laps compared to what he has been in the past previous 3, I would say. Then we have Rins in 5th, Antonio is in 6th, Jack Miller is in 7th, which is good for him, to be honest, in qualifying 1. Then we have Bezzecchi in 8th, Morbidelli is in 9th, Zarco is in 10th, Aldeguer is in 11th, and Marini is in 12th. Then we have some of the riders heading out back onto the track now. We have Jack Miller heading out. We have, is that, yeah, that's Bagnaia? Is it Bagnaia? It is Bagnaia and Alex both heading out for their second runs, as well as D'Antonio and Alex Marquez. No, is it Alex? It's both Alex and Aldeguer. Everyone is heading out onto the track. The only two who have not actually, is about to head out onto the track is Quartararo, though Rins is for some reason still stuck in his pit box. Why is there a little bit of trouble with Quartararo's bike just then? Slight bit of trouble getting that underway. Perhaps something to look at for during the sprint race later on. Of course, that will be covered majority by Joshua Birch, and I will be joining near the end, as I will be covering, well, I will be producing, I think, the end of Q3 with Omi leading, and a little bit too close there for Mark and Jack Miller. I think they need to separate a bit. They're going to take each other off at this rate. Probably wouldn't be the first time, I'm pretty sure. Though no improvements just yet, heading out on their warm-up laps, and I think from now on we'll see quite a lot of improvement from the rest of them. 3.5 minutes left of qualifying 2. For a minute I thought that Alex was going to head into the pit lane, and what's happening with Rins' bike? Rins is looking really anxious and really desperate to get out of that pit box, so I'm not sure he's going to do it in time. Or he might just get one possible fast lap in, but he is seemingly stuck in the pit box, so I wonder if there's a problem with that. Heaviest braking point seeing on the screen is turn 15. Here we have an example with the Marquezes, coincidentally enough, both braking quite heavily round turn 15. They're just stuck together on the track, aren't they? All the time, they're always next to each other. So, Rins, has he finally managed to get back out? Yes! I believe he has. Rins has finally made his way out of pit lane after whatever they were fixing on his bike. They seemed quite concerned with the front. So I am going to guess that they were trying to fix the ride height device, because that does give quite a lot of people problems, and it especially seems to give Yamaha problems. So most likely fixing the ride height device, so that's why he was so desperate to get out on the track. 2 minutes left of qualifying 2. And it's seeing fastest laps appear on the screen. Most consistent of them all, however, is Alex Marquez with a personal best sector 1, and then it's fastest sectors 2 and 3. However, his brother, it's only on this opening lap for some reason. I don't know what's happening there with Bagnaia saying personal best throughout all 3 of the sectors so far that he is in. Seems to be estimating to be quite high in positions, maybe 2, possibly even scraping a first position for pole. So Alex is 26 thousandths of a second behind Marc Marquez's time, and Aldeguer goes 3rd, personal best of a 158.073, with Bagnaia going top with a 157.822. Alex Marquez enters the final corner and goes top with a 157.542. 5? He has gone almost 3 tenths faster than Bagnaia's time. That is impressive from the Marquez just there. Quartararo, however, is looking to annihilate that time, as he is 2 tenths faster than Alex's time at present. Can he do it? Come on, Quartararo. He has... Would this be his 3rd pole in a row? I think it might be, or at least 2nd pole in a row. He is absolutely flying out there. Yellow out on track. Who is that? Who is the yellow for? I believe it's Zarco or Quartararo. No, just Antonio. It's Quartararo! No! Please tell me that was Rins and not Quartararo. That was Zarco at turn 6, crashing out for sector 2. So whoever is in that sector is completely ruined now. For that was one of the Yamahas going off of the side. Please do not tell me that was Quartararo. And Mark's that going wide is Mark. Yeah, he has gone wide completely.
Well, that's a surprise. I didn't expect Mark to get abandoned by that lap time, so Quartararo could be on for 3 pole positions in a row.
Well, Quartararo's already done a 157.233. I didn't actually get to mention that because I'm pretty sure it was Rins who went off, and I was not sure whether that was
Rins.
Yamaha.
It's down at, I think... Oh, Mark nearly lost it coming into Cops. That's why he's lost out on the lap time. Hello.
I think his tyres are gone. Hello. Ooh. There we can see some trouble, and quite close to the back of him there. I believe that was... I want to say that was Bezzecchi.
Everyone's going to lose their lap times here because of the yellow flag. So Quartararo has got pole with Alex second. Mark off the front row. First time that's happened all season long.
It is amazing from Quartararo. Is that 3 in a row for him?
3 in a row, yeah. Spain, France and Great Britain. Ironically, the 3 races that I haven't in the commentary box.
Maybe I'm his good luck charm.
I think you are.
Apart from races, I'm his qualifying good luck charm.
Yeah, races aren't going his way. He can qualify well. And it's a new all-time night record around this place as well. 1:57.233.
That is brilliant there from Fabio.
You're getting a lot of compliments, by the way. People saying that the TNT commentary is excruciating. You're better. 3 in a row. That's unbelievable. So yeah, there's Zarco.
Zarco crashed out turn 5, I believe. Having a lot of trouble with turn 5. I'm thinking maybe there's a crosswind there.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Here's a replay of Zarco's crash, and it just loses it on entrance. And he's just looks like he's in a sunbed just when he was flying across there just then.
Bang on the wrong time, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I will lead you through 3 poles in a row first. First time since 2021 for Fabio Quartararo, that is. I shall quickly lead through the timings for what this was. It was a 1:57.233 for Quartararo, who is on pole for the British Grand Prix. And Alex Marquez is in second with Bagnaia in third. Marc Marquez is in fourth, kicked off the front row for the first time all season long. Aldeguer is in fifth with Jack Miller in sixth. I think that's his personal best of
the season,
yeah. And there's Quartararo doing some practice starts. Doesn't need it. D'Antonio is in seventh with Marini in eighth. Zarco is in ninth with Morbidelli is 10th. 11th is Bezzecchi, and Rins did not set a proper time, so he's in 12th because he obviously had to stay in the pit lane for a bit longer than everyone else due to, I think, a ride height device issue that was occurring. Thank you for watching these qualifying sessions. Please join us later on for the Test Sprint and everything else that is currently going on at JB Motorsports 1 as well. Which, by the way, for those that don't know, it's F1 Monaco, so quite exciting on at JB Motorsports 1 as well.
And Lewis just hit the wall.
Oh, and Lewis Hamilton hits the wall. First time off front row this season, just getting Marquez information. So thank you all for watching. Goodbye.